You never know where we're going to find Tom Curran. It could be on the golf course. It could be out behind his house. It could be parked on the side of the road, scaring the crap out of us as semis whiz by. Here he is in his normal habitat, the studio at NBC Sports Boston. Hello, Tom. How are you? It's been a while.
This is great. I don't understand why you shut me off, but apparently my number has come up again. I couldn't be happier about it.
Well, I shut you off because the team you cover stinks.
Can't disagree on that, Mike. And I'm not seeing quick rebounds. So looks like the next thing to go will be the annual Florio Christmas card. You can take him off. Take him off. We don't have to send it to him anymore. The team stinks.
It's been a very eventful, though, 20 years for the New England Patriots. And the dynasty was born in a weird sort of way 19 years ago today. The Tuck Rule game, the last game at Foxborough Stadium. First thing that you remember about that night?
Just the visual of it, knowing this was the last game that was going to be played in Foxborough Stadium, knowing everything that the franchise had been through, knowing that they were playing the hated Raiders, who really probably short-circuited the best team in Patriots history prior to that year's team in '76. So you go in there and the lights, bright white lights are hitting on mounds of snow, and you're looking at it, you're like, they haven't done anything to the field. They're going to play on this stuff. It really felt, Mike, like we were in a snow globe, and it was a celebratory mood in so many ways. You just can't imagine a better scenario to close down a stadium and then everything that followed.
I'm told that after the fumble, or at least what everyone thought was a fumble, the fans began to stream for the exits, and then actually they were let back in once they heard Walt Coleman's voice over the PA system. Where were you when all that was happening?
Press box, first row. I was writing at the time for the Metro West Daily News, suburban paper in Framingham, Mass, circulation about 35,000. So I was sitting right there and watched it, and I obviously, as we all did, thought fumble. And the one aspect of it too, and there's a little background noise here, hopefully it stops here in the studio. But the one interesting thing about it was the replay, you never see Brady's other hand touch the ball. You can presume that it did. And I asked him in the post game, I said, Tom, did your hand ever touch the ball again? And he was wearing a scally cap. And the Patriots used to have their post-game press conferences in that stadium in the weight room. And Brady's like, no, I don't think it did. Just kind of smiling. But, yeah, my perspective was right there in that front row of the press box.
Yeah, and, nobody really knew what the Tuck Rule was, although it had kind of been percolating in recent games. There had been a game earlier that year where Kurt Warner did something like that, and it was impacted, and it actually had been reduced to writing just the year or two before. The 99 season, I think it was, that it ended up in the rule book, and, of course, it lasted another 10 years or so before it was wiped out. They weren't going to take that one off the books too soon. Otherwise, it would have legitimized the complaints from the Raiders. But that was really something. And now let's pivot to today. Here we are 19 years later. Tom Brady in his first year with the team other than the Patriots on the brink of a Super Bowl. And Tom, of all the great things that Tom Brady's done or that anyone in sport has ever done, the idea that he's now at a 90% success rate getting to the Final Four over the last 10 years is incredible to me.
I think one of the most amazing aspects of it too, Mike, is when you look at the quarterback field, for everything that Brady does in high leverage situations, and we're talking about this today on some of our shows, when you match up the four guys remaining, Brady has the weakest arm. He's got the least mobility. He wins on brain, poise, situational awareness. 18 for 33 for 199. People are saying that's not really a very good game. He didn't turn it over. He cashed in every turnover with a touchdown. And when you look at the list of guys who played, Patrick Mahomes couldn't finish his playoff game last week. Lamar Jackson, same thing. Alex Smith couldn't make the start. Jared Goff has surgery. We've seen Aaron Rodgers laid low by calf injuries. Brady just keeps answering the bell year after year after year. The guy who was supposed to succeed him here, Jimmy Garoppolo, can't stay healthy in San Francisco. That, to me, Mike, is the one thing about Brady that when Bill Belichick decided he was going to push away from the table, he didn't take into consideration enough. 40, 43, 45. The guy doesn't miss games.
It really is amazing. The presence of mind that he has in the pocket, the ability to get rid of the football, not take the big hit, the ability to step up. And there was a moment at one point this season where he moved up in the pocket as the walls were caving in around as the defensive ends collapsed it that way. It almost looked like a Madden glitch. It was a jump cut. That's how quickly he moved up in the pocket to deliver the football. He's got that sixth sense. He knows how much time he has. And you're right. He answers the bell. But for the 2008 season where he took the low hit from Bernard Pollard and was out for the year with the torn ACL, he just keeps going. And that is such an underrated aspect of valuing a quarterback. Can he play every week? And, you mentioned the numbers down near 50%. Even as the completion percentage shrinks, all the other numbers go up. The yards per attempt go up. The yards per completion against Washington were 17 per completion. He's getting the ball down the field like Bruce Arians envisioned when he joined the team.
But the reason they won last week is because he said, screw this, I'm going to throw it to Leonard Fournette. And that's the reason they won. In those games against New Orleans that they lost, they came out, Mike, and immediately said, okay, we're going to try and throw it. And that wasn't really the way to go because they went 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Brady still needs to be accurate into small windows with guys who aren't really accustomed to playing with him. So you do have to be a diverse team. You do have to be able to do it both ways. And I think that which of the quarterbacks has the most, answer this, Mike, which of the quarterbacks of the final three have the most pressure on him to play a seamless, error-free game to get them to the Super Bowl? I think it's Brady. Because that Todd Bowles defense, as well as it performed and all the takeaways that it had four guys chasing the wrong guy, Alvin Kamara, on the double pass that Winston threw a touchdown pass. There were two near punt return touchdowns. There is no margin for error for the Bucs.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now, the Bucs defense woke up in a very stunning way in the second half as it looked like the Saints were going to go up 23-13 or 27-13 when Antoine Winfield ripped the ball out of Jared Cook's clutches, and it changed after that. But you just don't show up confident that your defense is going to be doing that. You do need something from the offense, and Brady's been getting it done. What are the folks up there saying about the scoreboard for the post-Brady-Belichick relationship? Is it 1-0 Brady based upon what we've seen so far?
Yeah, it's 1-0, and the scoreboard watchers are out in force. People like me who said that the reason the Patriots were not a scintillating team offensively in either 18 or 19 wasn't because of Brady's declining skills, but the fact that he really had no one to throw to feels somewhat vindicated. The guy's 43, he's got 40 touchdown passes. But I think a lot of people are saying, look, if the Patriots wanted to pivot, and they are doing so, Bill Belichick with $60 million, and as you pointed out today, maybe even more than that in cap space coming up, don't render him not a factor going forward yet. To me, Mike, it's very simple. If Bill Belichick doesn't have the conceivable answer at quarterback before Tom Brady retires at 45, then it was an absolute beatdown and a terrible mistake to move away from him. End of story. And it's already headed that way.
When Belichick watches Brady play in these playoffs, where do you think he lands on the scale? And let me just come up with a rough positive and negative. On one end, he'd be wearing a Brady Tampa Bay Bucs jersey. On the other end, he'd have a Tom Brady voodoo doll. Where does he land on that spectrum?
I would say it's probably a dot or two away from the voodoo doll. He's not holding it. He's not holding it, but he's online scrolling, trying to find where he can get one delivered fast. I was talking to a friend of mine today. I said, what are the odds that he just calls up Rex Burkhead and said, look, I know you got the bad knee, but is there any shot that you can get down to Tampa this week and just run into Brady's right hand and try and tear that open again like you did a couple of years ago? I mean,
that's wrong.
Imagine if he goes and beats Green Bay. It's 2 weeks of Bill screwed up. No, he's going to have a voodoo doll, Michael.
Yeah. And what Patriots fans, though, are they supporting Tom Brady in the second act, or are they anti-Tommy?
I think it's more Tampa Bay is good for me, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. But the very vocal F that guy, he left group is certainly well heard as well. We get it as we cover Brady like a team unto himself here at NBC Sports Boston. Why are you covering Brady? He doesn't play here anymore. Well, because it gets clicks. But I think that more than anything, there's just the sentiment of, look, he was a part of the family 20 years, Mike. And I mean, if you're in the media, let's be honest. Am I talking to you? Do I have the job I have? Do I have this wonderful $188 suit jacket and a job in the media had I not been lucky enough to cover the Belichick Brady Patriots? I don't know, but I'm lucky I was. I want to see the guy do well. Am I forfeiting all journalistic credibility, whatever amount I still have left, if I say I want the guy to do well?
First of all, you paid too much for the jacket. And second of all, he's in the most non-threatening spot for the Patriots. He's not in their conference, and they're not in the playoffs. It's not like they're on a collision course for the Super Bowl. The Patriots are done. It's over. So if you want to be invested in the postseason and you still have warm memories of what Tom Brady did, you support him now in his time as the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because it doesn't diminish anything he did with the Patriots, even if he wins another Super Bowl, right?
Well, that I think really, because there are as many Belichick files as there are Brady files. And every time Brady does something that defiles the Belichick files and Bill Belichick is diminished, then those people who are Belichick loyalists come out with the bayonet sharpened. And we saw that this week. I can't remember who tweeted. I think it was Chris Gasper from the Boston Globe tweeted, Brady playoff wins without Belichick, 2. Belichick wins without Brady. Playoff wins without Brady, 1. And people went berserk. But facts is facts. And maybe Brady's a carpetbagger. And Bill's transition back to being a playoff coach is going to be harder than Tom's, where he could just parachute in. But it's not like Bill isn't part of the reason the team is a little bit bereft of talent and completely hosed if Josh McDaniels takes the Philadelphia Eagles job.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.